Today we're going to take a look at how to install the Oracle LED light modules on the Ford Bronco. This is going to fit the steel modular style bumper on the full-size Bronco, and as you can see, these come fully assembled, really simple installation. The wiring, well, this may seem a little bit complicated, it's actually really simple. So we'll do a quick benchtop demonstration on how to install this wiring harness, and as far as the installation on the Bronco, we'll cover that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this is usually the part in the video where we go over the tools that we're gonna need. So today we're gonna be using a 10mm socket and a T40 Torx wrench to complete the installation using all the hardware that's already on the Bronco, so really simple. So since that's covered, let's go ahead and talk about this wiring harness, because this can seem a little bit intimidating if you don't do a lot of wiring, but we've really tried to make it as simple as possible for you. So once the fog lights are installed, we'll go ahead and plug in the Deutsch connectors into either side, left and right, and then all we have to do is run our red wire up to the battery, and we're going to ground our black wire here. And what that's going to do is, if we connect this to power, is basically activate the harness, and then we'll have the switch ran into the cab that'll basically turn the lights on and off. So really simple. We're making two connections and then adding the switch, and that is that. So let's go ahead and get started and show you how it's done. All right, so the hardware that we're going to be using is already on the bumper. It's these three screws right here. So we're going to take our T40 and basically pull these three screws out, and we're going to use these to mount the new fog light assembly. All right, so now coming through the back here, come up and set this setup into place and reinstall the screws that we took out. So this already looks a whole lot better. There was just this big empty void here that looked like something was missing. So this obviously is a big improvement. So we're just going to take the same steps we just did, and we'll do it on the other side. Then we're going to set up our wiring. All right. So now we're going to start installing our wiring. We'll start by grounding and powering the two leads coming off the harness here. And again, Ford includes a 10mm socket in the toolkit, so that's basically what you're going to use. And something else really convenient that Ford did in this case is they included accessory terminals to add stuff just like this. So we'll go ahead and pull the nut off of one of the open accessory terminals, place our red wire on here, and reinstall the nut. All right, so now our ground will just go ahead and go to the top post of the negative terminal on the battery. So the next step is we're going to install the switch. So basically we're going to unplug this connector here, and then if you notice, there's a grommet right here on the firewall. So this grommet has little ears where you can just basically pull the grommet out like this. All right, so we've already installed some accessories, so we've already made our slot in here, just taking a razor blade and cutting this. So what we'll do is basically install this connector through this opening, pull it through, and we'll feed our switch into the cabin here and reinstall our grommet. All right, so now we just got to reinstall the grommet. For me, I find it easier just to push the grommet all the way through the firewall and then to come back and reinstall it from the inside. But I do want to point out, this is really convenient that Ford put this here. We work on a lot of different vehicles here, and it's really nice to have a clean, easy way to go through the firewall where it's really designed for cables to be passing through. And next thing we're going to do is go ahead and connect our two wires to our two fog lights. All right, so last thing before we close the hood up, we'll just go ahead and mount the relay. We just want this to be kind of out of the way. We'll go ahead and zip tie it right here to this ground cable. And then we'll just do a little cable management, push some of this stuff out of the way. We've already got some other wires in here, so it's a little cluttered as is, but we'll just try to clean everything up, make sure that everything's nice and tight. We don't want a bunch of slack in the engine bay. All right, that looks good. All right, so on the passenger side, we're just gonna drop this cable down next to the radiator shroud and just feed it down. We'll go below and grab it. All right, so right now we've already got our skid plate removed. If you're having a hard time routing the wires like you see us doing here, you might have to just drop that skid plate. But basically, we're just gonna run this straight across and plug it into the passenger side like so, and then either reinstall the skid plate and hold everything up. But there's not a lot of slack in here, but it's still good to just kind of do a little cable management, get some of the stuff cinched up, and then reinstall the skid plate from there. All right, so for the driver's side, this one's gonna be a lot easier to get to, but we're just gonna take the same steps, drop this down right next to the radiator shroud, and pop it through at the bottom, and then we'll come back and any excess leftover wire, we'll go ahead and secure this. All right, so now we'll just plug this into here, and then we'll pull the slack back up into the engine bay. All right, so now we'll just do a quick little test. We'll turn the fog lights on, turn them off. All right, everything's working like it should. So we'll just go ahead and mount this switch. Normally we like to mount it like right here. It's pretty easily accessible. If you use any kind of Armor All or anything like that on your interior, you're really gonna wanna like clean this with some isopropyl alcohol or something in order to give yourself a nice contact surface. But yeah, we've already got this cleaned up, so we'll go ahead and stick it on. And just again, make sure that there's no cables or anything that are going near the pedals that could potentially be stepped on. Keep it out of the way, keep it out of the way of the hood latch. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So as you can see, these make a big difference. You get tons of light output, and these lights really do look almost factory. As we showed you, these come pre-assembled, and the installation is pretty straightforward. But if you have any other questions, be sure to check out our website at www.oraclelights.com or call us at 1-800-407-5776.